my goodness. Are you guys excited yet? Are you guys excited for WrestleMania? It is WrestleMania week. It's the busiest week of the entire year. And tonight was the go-home show for Monday Night Raw. Now, depending on who you talk to, I'm already seeing mixed reactions for the show. I thought it was an okay show, man. Was it great? No, not really. Has the build for WrestleMania been great? No, not really. But it wasn't a bad show by any means. We got some great wrestling tonight. We got a great Gunther promo. We got a great closing segment with Punk, Rollins, Reigns, and Paul Heyman. And tomorrow, we roll on in to what I believe is going to be a very exciting week, man. We're kicking it off tonight with Monday Night Raw. The schedule's loaded. The drinks are cold. Ice cold. And when I get to the venue on this Monday night, I want to know when I walk through those doors, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw Post Show for April 14th, 2025. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Monday evening, wherever you may be. It is WrestleMania week, finally. We are finally here, folks. It's been long. It's been long. It's been longer than usual. WrestleMania is happening a little bit later in the month of April this year. It is happening on Easter Sunday, whether you like that or not. Nick Khan doesn't really care. Las Vegas doesn't care. They want you to celebrate the resurrection of Christ with WrestleMania 41 in Sin City. Now, I think many of us in the community have been very vocal about the WrestleMania build. I think many of us in the community have been very vocal about the hype surrounding this year's WrestleMania compared to last. I wasn't expecting a, oh my God, let's throw everything at the wall type of show. WWE has, in drips, given you a little bit here, a little bit there. There hasn't been one show from top to bottom where every segment was banger after banger after banger. I don't know what WWE's waiting for. I don't know what WrestleMania is going to look, feel, and sound like. But this week, I have deep dived into the WrestleMania 9 fiasco. And the last time WWE was in Las Vegas for WrestleMania was at WrestleMania 9, which is heralded as one of the worst WrestleManias out of all 41. I don't want to sit here and tell you that WrestleMania 41 is going to be as bad as WrestleMania 9. I don't think that WWE is even capable of that. But the similarities in how we felt about certain things on that show compared to this show coming up on Saturday and Sunday, they are quite similar. WWE, the last time that they were in Las Vegas was for WrestleMania 9. And on paper, honestly, the card looked a lot better on paper than it did when we actually sat down and watched the show. I watched the WrestleMania 9 documentary, which I thought was fantastic. I watched WrestleMania 9 in its entirety again because WWE's Vault YouTube channel uploaded it again in full, all 3 hours of it. And I sat there, and it brought back those emotions of nothing. It brought back those emotions of nothing while watching the show. I felt nothing. For a lot of what had happened there, now looking back at it, much older now, much wiser, much more knowledgeable, I felt nothing. And going into this year's WrestleMania, I don't want to say I don't feel anything, because there are matches on this show that I am very interested in seeing, a lot of which are coming off of the Monday Night Raw brand, primarily. But I know a lot of you guys are feeling that same thing, nothing. You're not feeling nothing. The shows have been lackluster. The build has been lackluster. Questionable decisions up and down this WrestleMania card. I even questioned if this was the final card for Triple H. Dating back to October, November, I don't believe that this was his card for WrestleMania. I don't. If it is, I'd be shocked. I feel a lot of what we're getting outside of maybe Cody and Cena, I feel a lot of it was pieced together on the go without a clear direction of where they actually wanted to go. And a lot of that feeling of nothing is being felt in the community. A lot of these stories haven't really hit. Now, I don't want to blame everything on The Rock. I don't. The Rock was one segment on a few shows last year. The Rock was in the main event of night 1. He had a hand in the main event of night 2, leading to a Bloodline Rules match. The main event of night 2 was one of the greatest main events in the history of the company. Maybe the greatest WrestleMania main event of all time. But when you get something that monumental, it trickles down the rest of the card. If the card was actually bad last year, you looked at that and everything surrounding that, and it's going to negate everything that you saw previously. It'll give you guys a different perception of the actual card. because the moment was so fucking grandiose. The moment was so big that everything else that came before it doesn't really matter. We don't have that this year. We don't. The Rock made himself very visible last year. A lot. He made himself very visible. John Cena has not. John Cena has this great heel turn happen at the Elimination Chamber. And granted, John Cena, in his very first promo, says he's not going to give us what we want. He's not going to give us what we are expecting. He already set you up for it, man. He went for that layup. And you can't really complain because John Cena told you from day one, as soon as he opened his mouth, where this was all going. Was that the best course of action? Probably not. We got John Cena versus the fans in week 1. We got John Cena versus the fans in week 2. We finally got John Cena versus Cody Rhodes in week 3. Now we're priming for a John Cena 4th appearance on Friday because coincidentally he'll be in Las Vegas, and that's where SmackDown will be taking place, in Las Vegas. The Rock last year cut viral promos in front of his mobile device that spanned anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes. John Cena has not done anything like that online via his social media account or accounts, which reach multi-millions of people. WWE could sit here and Triple H could sit here and claim that all we do is bitch and complain on social media. But when it boils down to it, WWE will never admit that they are wrong. They will never admit that what they are doing is mid. Everything that they do is great. Everything that they do has a purpose, a meaning, a strategy behind it. Let it play out. I'm looking at it from a head-on perspective. I'm not excited. I have to be because I have to be in front of you, great people. I'm not having fun. I find myself with my eyes on my phone, my head in my phone, most of these shows. And I look up when something big happens or a big move happens or when Punk is on TV, I stop what I'm doing. Or when Rollins speaks, I stop what I'm doing. Or Gunther tonight, I stop what I'm doing. Outside that, I don't really care. SmackDown is even worse. Don't get me started on SmackDown. SmackDown is... we're reaching AEW Dynamite sub-levels of bad. You know you're in the shithole when I'm comparing you to Dynamite. WWE has not taken the same course of action that they did last year for this year's WrestleMania, and it's definitely feeling more and more like a WrestleMania 9 vibe. I don't know what it is with Las Vegas. But if this is the vibe going into WrestleMania 9 that we all vividly remember, and now it's the same thing going into WrestleMania 41, I think it's time to stay away from Las Vegas as a host city for WrestleMania. I'm not excited about a lot of this show. Outside the main event of night 1, I'm excited. Cody and Cena, I'm excited to an extent. I do wish that John Cena did more. I do wish that John Cena did and said more. Said it on Friday. Cody's going to have to go to bat for both of them. He's got to be Batman in a Gotham without the Joker. I don't know how that's even fucking possible. Sure, you got the Riddler. Sure, you got the Penguin. Sure, you got Catwoman. Mr. Freeze. Tony Khan. But they ain't the Joker, man. They're not. Cody's had to carry a lot of this on his own, twice. 2 weeks is a lot in the grand scheme of build for WrestleMania when you don't have John Cena on your show. I may be missing a week. We may be looking at 3 weeks where John Cena wasn't there and Cody had to go to bat for both of them. That's a problem. That is a big problem. That's not going to get me excited. There's only so much that you can say. There's only so much that you could physically tell us. You got to get down to it, man. You got to get down to business. You got to give me some fucking volatile environments. You got to give me some fucking edge of my seat action. It's like a movie. It's like a movie And there's no action scenes. It's all fucking dialogue. It's basically what John Cena and Cody Rhodes is. Unless they're saving the big fucking climax for WrestleMania, I don't blame you for being not excited. It's basically what John Cena and Cody Rhodes has been, an action movie with no fucking action scenes. We got the big dastardly heel turn, man. We got the villain, we got the fucking hero, and then there's no action in between. The only action that's been had was a crossroads, and that's it. Gunther and Jey Uso, they have done a lot to get people excited. And I know a lot of people were very disenfranchised with Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. I was one of, I don't know how many other content creators really praised Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, but I was certainly at the forefront of that. And I still am. I think that was the right decision. I do. And that obviously was planned. They had that planned for weeks. That's exactly where they wanted to go. I use the one statement in describing that. We all know Triple H has played it safe. Saturday Night's main event on December 14th. Monday Night Raw on January 6th. Saturday Night's main event on January 25th. He played it safe. Royal Rumble happened. We got a lot happening at the Royal Rumble. We got setups for the Royal Rumble. He played it safe again going into the Chamber. The Chamber is really the best show that they've done in the Triple H era. It will go down as probably the best show that WWE does all year. And it certainly was the best show that WWE had on the road to WrestleMania. We know he's played it safe. And a lot of what we've seen with Jey Uso and Gunther coming out of the Rumble played it safe. It's almost as if they didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do and where they wanted to go. But man, if you're watching this show over the last 3 or 4 weeks and you still don't think that this is a good match for the WrestleMania card, and you don't think that this story has fleshed itself out, you're watching the wrong show. This program has been probably top 3 if you're looking up and down the WrestleMania card. It's got everything you want. It's got a babyface. It's got a heel. 2 completely different sides of the spectrum. It's got a story. It's got emotion. And it's got the WrestleMania moment waiting to happen when Jey Uso wins the World Championship. Sorry, all the people who want Gunther to retain. I don't have a problem with Gunther retaining, but I think you're wishing upon a fucking star that's never going to show itself. Roman, Seth, CM Punk. Do you still think that this should not main event night 1? Because I certainly think it's absolutely the main event of night 1. I don't know how you look at those 3 guys and the status that they all 3 hold in the company and deem that, yeah, it's not the main event. It absolutely is. Oh, but JD, there's no title on the line. I don't give a fuck. I don't. I'm well past that, man. Punk's got his main event. It's Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins has been a fucking workhorse for this company where he deserves to be in the main event just as much as anybody else. Pay it forward. You add Paul Heyman into the mix. You add that dynamic. I owe Punk a favor. But I'm with Roman Reigns. And now you got Seth Rollins, who has been impeccable on the microphone. He has been spot on the microphone. In the last few weeks, you don't know what side of the coin Paul Heyman's going to be on. Is it going to be Punk? Is it going to be Roman? Because I'm here to tell you right now that if you are thinking and you are predicting that Paul Heyman is going to end up joining Seth Rollins, I would not discount that whatsoever. That could very well be the case on night 1. Look out for that because that is a real possibility. I thought what they did tonight was tremendous. Roman Reigns starting to figure out why Paul Heyman turned his back on the tribal chief. Seth Rollins just adding fuel to that fire with nothing but truth. And CM Punk gullible enough to think that Paul Heyman has changed his ways. You cannot change a scumbag and have him overnight become a saint. Paul Heyman got to where he is because he's a manipulator. Punk, out of everybody else, should know that. that dynamic makes it alone a WrestleMania main event. If you don't like the male soap opera vibe that Paul Heyman gives this feud, and you think this is some inter-promotional triangle of love between all three guys, I don't really give a shit. There's history between all three guys, not only with Punk and Heyman, but all three of them dating back to 12 years ago with the Shield. I love what they've done the last 3 weeks. Ever since the contract signing, I loved what they've done. Ever since that big pull-apart brawl where all of them pointed at the sign and the match was made, that was lame. Ever since then, they got right back on track with everything. The Intercontinental Championship. Is there much of a story? Not really. The story is Dominic and Finn Balor. That's the story. If you're not interested in that, I understand. WWE really hasn't put a focus on that too heavily. It's more Braun Breaker, Spear, Penta, winning. WWE hasn't really put a huge spotlight. I don't want to say that they have not put a spotlight. They haven't put a huge spotlight on Dominic and Finn Balor. That's where the real story is. Could they have put a spotlight on that a little bit brighter going into WrestleMania season? I think so. It would have made the match a little bit more story-driven instead of just putting all four guys in the ring and putting a championship on the line. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair, the other match that people should think main event. That's happening on night 2. That's going to be a banger match. All three ladies are going to kill it. Story is there. Bianca, is she going heel? Is she going to remain undefeated at WrestleMania? Io, she's walking into WrestleMania as the champion everybody wanted. Does Rhea get her championship back? There's a lot going on there. Did I enjoy the build and the lead up to what they did? I did, to an extent. Was it a little convoluted getting here? Sure. But WWE has given them WrestleMania treatment, so I don't mind what they did there. Then we got Logan Paul and AJ Styles. If you're looking for a story, I'm right there with you. I don't know what the fucking story is. But it could be a sleeper match of the night. Logan Paul's great. AJ's great. You put them together in the ring, you're going to get a great match. But there is no story. Grande Americano. The other thing I'm looking forward to. Oh, but JD, this is silly. Oh, but JD, Chad Gable deserves a WrestleMania match. He's getting one. He's getting a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, no matter how silly it is. This is only the beginning. It's not even going to end at WrestleMania. We got that little show in St. Louis coming up called Backlash. Grande Americano and Rey Mysterio could realistically be the match of the fucking weekend if they wanted to. Are you doubting Chad Gable, mask or no mask? I know I'm not. I don't know why you would. Is it silly? Sure. But it's entertaining. And Chad Gable, no matter what the fuck he's wearing, is going to go out there and deliver a banger because that's what he does. SmackDown's a little bit more murky. I'm not really interested in anything coming off of SmackDown. I'm not. Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, couldn't really give a shit. Love Fatu. I'm an LA Knight guy, but I don't really care about the United States Championship whatsoever. Tag Team Championships. We got the New Day versus the War Raiders. They're clearly adding a stipulation to that match because everybody in the company even knows themselves that the fucking feud and the match is ice fucking cold. So they'll probably add a Viking rules match or some type of war stipulation to it where it goes to a no DQ. They're trying to manufacture something that really isn't there. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, another sleeper match. Could be sleeper match of the weekend. I said it on Friday. Don't doubt Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest, when he shows up to work, man, they make it believable. They do. Drew McIntyre is a fucking A-plus player in this company. Not being treated like one, but he certainly is. WWE has not given us a lot to sink our teeth into as far as story. Everybody says WWE is the place where stories thrive. I think this WrestleMania season, WWE and their stories have been lazy. I'm not saying that all of it has been bad, but from a fan's perspective, we expect excitement. We expect unpredictability. We expect you to not play it safe. We expect you to put your best face on. We expect you to put your best foot forward. WWE sometimes wants to put their best foot forward, but sometimes also they don't give a shit. I don't know if I'm the only one that felt this while watching tonight's show, but when Michael Cole introduced the show, there was just a lack of energy that is palpable. You feel it, you taste it. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking Excalibur is a little bit more excited for a fucking 1,500-seat Dynamite on Wednesday compared to Michael Cole, who we have WrestleMania coming up on Saturday and Sunday, 50,000 each night at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. He can't be bothered to be excited to the open of the show. I don't know what's going on there. It's almost like they want to get through this WrestleMania season and then just move on to the next fucking show. They're breaking record numbers. And like record numbers and the money, everybody gets comfortable when they start seeing the money roll in fucking truckloads. Look at what we're doing. Look at how much minimal effort we need to do, but the money still keeps on coming in. That is a problem. And that, from me to you, and from my fandom to this product, I find that to be the very reason why WrestleMania is as lackluster this year as it is. You can sit here and cite The Rock. You can sit here and mention that there's no big matches on this show. There are big matches. WWE's got a roster that's nearly at full strength. I'm not going to sit here and blame The Rock. I'm going to sit here and blame that WWE, Nick Khan, Triple H, Ari Emanuel, TKO. They got so much money coming in that they feel like they could do minimal effort and still get people in the seats and in the buildings. And they'll worry about it when they get to it. That's the vibe that I get for WrestleMania. And as a fan, that's the worst fucking feeling. As a fan, that's what I felt when Vince ran the show. When Vince got his big TV deals, when Vince got his Saudi money, he didn't care to put on good shows because he knew he had guaranteed money. Those TV rights deals and those Saudi deals, they held the company afloat for years. He didn't give a shit. If Fox is stupid enough to pay WWE $2 billion, why do I got to put on a great fucking show? If WWE can do this WrestleMania in Las Vegas with 25,000 less people combined compared to last year and still break record numbers, do you honestly think that they're going to put their best foot forward when they know they broke records by doing minimal work compared to last year? They cite 60,000 each night. WWE is barely over 50,000 for each night. And you know they're going to inflate the fucking numbers. Like they usually do. How could you have this show happen in front of 25,000 less people and break the all-time WrestleMania gate record? That's why WrestleMania season is in the shithole that it's been in for many, many weeks now. So Monday Night Raw was never going to do anything to get you excited about the show. It was WWE putting a fucking shit frosting on a shit cake with a little cherry on top. Here's your little sweetness to the fucking bullshit that we gave you over the last 8 weeks. Not to say everything's been bad tasting. But WWE was never going to get you excited about WrestleMania because they don't need to get you excited about WrestleMania. It's fucking WrestleMania. Everybody by default is fucking excited. We got some great wrestling on this show tonight. Julius Creed, Rey Mysterio. Bayley and Liv Morgan. Gunther cuts a tremendous promo, maybe one of the best promos he's ever cut. And we got Punk, Rollins, and Reigns in the main event with Paul Heyman. Main event segment on the Go Home Show. I thought what Rollins has done the last 3 weeks has been absolutely fucking God-tier work. Love the story coming out of Seth Rollins. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it, man. This is your Monday Night Raw Post Show right here on Off the Script. I thank you guys very much for joining me on this Monday night. We got 2,800 people in here on a Monday night. Thank you guys very much. Super chats are open. That is the best way to get your support in to the show via the super chats. Make sure you guys get those in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. I got my cold beverage all ready to go. Tomorrow night, the Solid Monster and I will have TNT, Tuesday Night Titans. We will be giving you the WrestleMania 41 edition of TNT. We're going to break down the entire card. We're going to talk primarily WrestleMania 41. So if you guys want the most extensive preview and predictions for WrestleMania, pull up a seat at the bar, order a couple of beverages, order yourself some nachos and some chicken wings. And make sure you guys are seated for Tuesday Night Titans tomorrow night, 8:30. Me and the one and only Solid Monster. The best two-man podcast in this IWC. Wednesday night, Jesse and I will be live for AEW Dynamite Spring Breakthrough. On paper, it looks like the best Dynamite that we are possibly going to get in 2025 up until this point. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita and Athena versus Mercedes Moné. Very, very unpredictable environment there with high stakes on the line. Looking forward to it. Thursday, this is where things get interesting. I will be doing a WrestleMania Roundtable discussion. If you guys remember the WrestleMania Roundtable we did during WrestleMania 39 season, it was me, Ango, Jesse, and BC Amplified. This year, we're doing it again. WrestleMania 41 is getting a roundtable. It will be me, moderating, Ango, Jesse, and we have a fourth. I am right now in the midst of finalizing the fourth man. As soon as he gives me the okay, as soon as he gets back to my DM that's sitting in his inbox right now, I will be announcing it hopefully tomorrow morning. I wanted to announce it on tonight's show, but he's busy. He's doing his own thing right now. Who is it? Who's the fourth man? You guys are giving me names all across the IWC. I think when we announce him, I think a lot of people are going to be very satisfied with who it's going to be. So make sure you guys get ready for that, man. Thursday afternoon, we're looking at around 3 p.m. for the WrestleMania 41 roundtable discussion. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Friday, WrestleMania SmackDown. Saturday, a little hazy on what's going on Saturday. WrestleMania obviously will be live after WrestleMania, but I'm thinking about doing a watch-along for Stand and Deliver. I'm not sure yet. So we'll figure it out. It's going to be a busy week. I thank you guys for joining me here on the podcast. Hit that thumbs up. We got 611 likes. I would love if you guys could get that to 1,000. We got 2,800 in here. 1,000 likes is the goal. I see some of you guys. I know a lot of people have requested Ross. A lot of people have requested Don Tony. A lot of people have requested Solid Monster. It's none of those names. It's not Denise. It's not Sir Wilkins. It's not Sean Ross Sapp. It's not Good Mike Work. It's not Bully Ray. It's not Jeff Jarrett. It's not Dave LaGreca. It's not Dave Meltzer. You guys are going to be happy with the decision when the decision finally comes, hopefully tomorrow morning. Tonight's show is sponsored by Z-Biotics. ZBiotics.com. You guys are going to use the link that I provide in the description down below. And tonight we're also sponsored by Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. You guys are going to go get your free sample courtesy of me and the podcast right here on Off the Script. And make sure you guys go check out all the content on the channel, plenty of it. We're having a tremendous month of April so far, and the second channel is 60 subscribers away from 12,000. We got some great content going up every single day over there for the last 4 days. Go check that stuff out. And I want to thank everybody who supports the podcast right here on Off the Script. Also live right now on X. So shout out to all my listeners over on X. You guys are crazy, man. You're going to be happy with the fourth man. I feel like the fucking Rock. Who's the fourth man, right? Who's the fourth man? No. Yeah, the Rock is the fourth man. Monday Night Raw. Let's get into the show. Enough of me blabbing. Monday Night Raw. We open up with Gunther. Michael Cole was surprised to see Gunther because he thought that this segment was coming later in the show, and Gunther just comes out and makes his way down to ringside. He's in a bad mood. He's in a bad mood. Michael Cole stood in the ring. He told Gunther he expected to conduct this interview later, but he'd ask him now about what went on last week with him and Jey Uso. Gunther interrupted, and he is yelling that Jey Uso is full of crap. I really wish that they'd curse on this show. I do. I know it probably won't make a difference to a lot of people, but imagine Gunther going out there and saying Jey Uso is nothing but full of shit. Talk like adults. Who says crap? Adults don't say you're full of crap. No, come on. The fans nearly drowned him out with boos. He got good heel heat here. Cole addressed the crowd and said, listen, I understand that you guys are frustrated with what he did. He told Gunther it appeared he was frustrated. Fans are yeeting and they're chanting yeet. Gunther then took the microphone from Michael Cole and said, screw your questions, screw Jey Uso, screw everything, and screw everyone who stands with Jey Uso. He says he is the greatest gift WWE has ever received. He went on to become the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. Fact. He says he wouldn't let Jey Uso ruin it all for him. Gunther then encouraged Jey to arrive at WrestleMania with his chest puffed out. He said the bell will ring and he will put him down for a fourth consecutive time. Right now, Jey Uso is 0-3 against Gunther. He says he has told he might have went too far with Jimmy Uso. He's been told he might have went too far with Jimmy Uso on that. He lost control. Gunther said he never has lost control in all 37 years of his life. He said Jey should thank him. He was in control 2 weeks ago because if he wasn't, he would have drowned them both in Jimmy's blood. It's quite the macabre visual for Gunther. You don't really hear him get that animated. He says he is looking forward to calling his mother next week and telling her how much he enjoyed beating the hell out of Jey Uso and walking out and still world heavyweight champion. If there was one promo that Gunther needed to cut, it was this one. And I'm glad we got it. It could not have come at a better time. Gunther is fucking phenomenal. Everything that you want in a pro wrestler, Gunther has it. Is he legit? More so than a lot of people in this entire sport. He makes you believe, and he is virtually unbeatable. Every match that he has, it almost feels like you're watching The Undertaker at WrestleMania every single time Gunther's out there. You don't know whether he's going to win or if he's going to lose. He's got that unpredictable aura about him. And he's so legit that you don't think he's ever going to lose a fucking match. Ever. That's special. That is absolutely special. So not only does he make you believe he's legit, I mean, the guy is basically a forever champion. 80% of his WWE run has been as a champion, whether it's NXT UK champion, Intercontinental champion, now World Heavyweight champion. As soon as he attacked Jimmy Uso, and as soon as he bathed in Jimmy Uso's blood, that's what really sparked the change in this entire storyline. Jey Uso last week cut a very heartfelt promo in his own way. Gunther this week says he's basically going to destroy Jey Uso at WrestleMania, and if he was in control, He was in control 37 years of his life. If he wasn't in control, he would have drowned them both in Jimmy's blood. And that he's going to call his mother and tell her exactly what he's going to do, or at that point has done, to Jey Uso at WrestleMania. This was a great promo. Final message, couldn't ask for anything better. Couldn't ask for anything more from Gunther. He's so fucking good. Now, Jey, on the other hand, I don't know why we needed to see Jey tonight. I don't. I get fans want to yeet. You're going to yeet to your heart's desire at WrestleMania. I don't know why we needed Yeet Man out there tonight to basically backtrack on everything he did last week. If they stopped with Gunther for this storyline tonight, WWE would have done a phenomenal job over the last 4 weeks. The fact that Gunther cut this promo and then they got fucking Jey Uso out there yeeting and starting the fucking music again and everybody's yeeting. Bro, really? Could have been without that tonight, but we'll get there because that happened later on in the show. Gunther, though, if we're talking specifically Gunther, he cut a fucking fantastic promo. Probably the best promo that he's ever cut in WWE. By far. We got a vignette with Bianca Belair. We got 3 vignettes with all the women in the Women's World Championship match. We got one with Bianca, one with Rhea, and one with Io. First was Bianca. She said she's become a different version of herself lately. She said she's done nothing other than speak up for herself and tell the truth. A lot of people in WWE that are turning to the dark side feel like they are the truth, that their story is the truth, that their words are the truth. You don't have to like the truth, but you can't deny it. It's exactly how I feel every Wednesday when the sickos have a problem with what I say about AEW Dynamite and Tony Khan's fucking indie-rific federation. You don't have to like the truth, but you can't deny it. She said she's been through a lot, but she's still the best and she'll show it at WrestleMania. You can't spell WrestleMania without EST. Can't? You cannot spell WrestleMania without EST. It's going to be a great match. Looking forward to it. I don't know if Bianca is going heel yet. She's justifying everything that she's done, for sure. Everything that she's done. From the moment that Rhea lost the championship to Io to what she did as the referee in that match, which basically led to Adam Pearce making this a triple threat match. She has justified her actions and feels like everything that she has done and said is the truth. Now, obviously, Rhea is not going to agree with that. And Io feels like the third woman out here. She feels like a third wheel. Nobody really respects her. They're pushing her aside because Rhea wants Bianca and Bianca wants Rhea. It's going to make for an interesting dynamic at WrestleMania, but I did enjoy all 3 of these vignettes. One here started off with Bianca Belair. Speaking of the ladies, we got ladies action to start Monday Night Raw tonight. Liv Morgan and Bayley. Liv is out there with Raquel Rodriguez, and Bayley is out there with Lyra Valkyria. This will be the Women's Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania. Bayley and Lyra versus Liv and Raquel. This went 13 minutes. This was not bad at all. Bayley has really put in a lot of work lately. The last few weeks, Bayley has quietly strung together a nice consecutive string of weeks where she's looked very good in the ring. And Bayley needed something desperately to really get her back on track because before that, she had nothing. She's now found that in Lyra. Liv Morgan, on the other hand, if you want to look at the MVP of the women's division this year, and you're really looking at both shows, I know a lot of people have claimed that Liv Morgan is the MVP of 2024. If we're talking about the first 4 months of 2025, I'm also looking at Liv Morgan. MVP of 2025 again. And that's in a division that has Lyra and Bayley and Io, Rhea, Bianca. Liv Morgan has been the MVP of the women's division, not only on Raw, but on SmackDown as well. Tiffany, Charlotte, Chelsea Green, the Secret Hervis, all these women. Liv Morgan is the MVP. Liv Morgan, I spoke about Bayley stringing together nice consecutive weeks of great in-ring action. Liv has been excelling. And the Elimination Chamber, I mean, listen, I wasn't the biggest Liv Morgan fan, but the Elimination Chamber, she was not only the MVP of that match, like I said, but the entire year so far. She really turned the corner there in that match. She was a different animal in the Elimination Chamber. And it's nice to see WWE with the women's division. I'm sure it's come at the best time possible because WWE is probably set to announce Evolution Part 2 in Connecticut, which is the growing rumor right now. So showing your best women and featuring your best women and them putting their best foot forward, it's the best thing possible right now for that division because it certainly needs it. The in-ring action of the women's division on Monday night for the last couple of weeks has been great. We got Bayley and Lyra last week. That was a great match for television. Liv and Bayley had a great match tonight. The Elimination Chamber match was great. So the women on Monday night, they're really turning out some really good stuff. Io and Rhea. Some really good stuff. And this is the division that's still missing Asuka and Kairi Sane. Imagine that. Can't wait to get those two ladies back. Anyway, I thought this was solid. Some solid work by both Bayley and Liv Morgan here. They worked very good together. Morgan tried 3 amigos on the outside, but Bayley blocked the third one. Morgan managed to stomp Bayley's hand on the steel steps and hit a vertical suplex for the third amigo off the steel steps. And she laughed as she came down off the steps and hit the mat with a big splat. Imagine taking a vertical suplex off the steel steps onto the floor outside and then you're laughing through it. Liv is a beast. So we go to a commercial break. We come back from the break. Bayley, coming back from behind, hits a knee strike. Liv Morgan avoided a sunset flip bomb, drove her into the turnbuckle instead. Morgan countered Bayley before Bayley hits a knee strike and finally gets the sunset flip into a buckle bomb for a 2 count. Morgan hits a code breaker off the apron. She followed that up with a drop kick off the apron. Back in the ring, goes for cover, gets a 2 count. Morgan tried whatever she was going for off the ropes. I don't know what it was, but Bayley caught her with a out of nowhere stunner, and she followed that up with a Bayley to belly. She had the match won, but Rodriguez put Morgan's foot on the rope to break the cover. Morgan's foot was on the rope, but then it kind of looked sloppy. Raquel tried to get the foot on the rope, but really didn't. So, with this outside interference from Raquel Rodriguez, Lyra Valkyria went after Rodriguez. Rodriguez absolutely destroyed Lyra with a big boot down to the mat. Bayley gave her a stunner in the ropes because she jumped onto the apron to take care of Bayley. So she ate a stunner in the ropes. Referee is now occupied with Rodriguez. Morgan hits a backstabber. Then she tried for Oblivion because Bayley got up from the backstabber and was on the ropes, right in prime position for Oblivion. But Lyra, on the outside, held Bayley against the ropes, so when Liv Morgan went for Oblivion, she ate nothing but mat. This caused Morgan to fall backwards. Bayley followed with a jackknife cover and a flash pin, 1, 2, 3, and Bayley gets the win over Liv. I thought the ending was really, really good. I thought this was excellent. So, crowd popped. Everybody was happy that Bayley got the win. And I'm liking the dynamic between Bayley and Lyra. Lyra is quietly putting together some solid work. And like I said, the match with Bayley last week, the gauntlet match on Friday with Bayley, where they entered as the first team and they outlasted all 5 teams on SmackDown to win the gauntlet and get the championship match at WrestleMania. Fans were into it by the end because then you got Lyra and Bayley against Alba Fire and Piper Niven. And that's the only thing that really mattered in that gauntlet match. And fans were into it. They were invested. The baby faces came from behind, starting at position 1, ended the gauntlet by winning the entire thing. I hope that this is a turning point for Lyra Valkyria. I do. WWE hasn't given her anything. They haven't given her time to shine. We don't know who she is. They haven't given her any time in a backstage segment or a sit-down interview or any in-ring time with a microphone. We don't know who she is or why we should care. All we know is that she's got a catchy theme music and people make bird sounds during it. That's it. She's quietly putting together some solid work. And if that solid work is going to get her over, I'll take it. Because they made her the Intercontinental Champion, the inaugural Intercontinental Champion, and they've done nothing with that title or the U.S. title for that matter. She's maximizing her time on television. I've been on this thing lately about maximizing your time. She has certainly done that. I hope this is a turning point. But like I said also, not only do I hope it's a turning point, but Bayley, a makeshift team, Bayley and Lyra are not a legit tag team. They wanted both of them featured at WrestleMania. They got their WrestleMania match. WWE's got some nice storytelling here. If they want. I know I could sit here and say Bianca needs a heel turn or Rhea could use a heel turn. Bayley needs a heel turn. I think a heel turn would benefit Bayley greatly. If you turn Bayley heel, it's only going to maximize Lyra being a babyface even more so, and the fans are going to be more sympathetic to Lyra more so than they are now. So it could work like a double whammy. That's what they have in the pipeline. I hope that's at least what they have in the pipeline. I do not see them winning the tag team championships. I do see that this may end in a rocky relationship coming out of WrestleMania. There's no way WWE's taking those titles off of Liv and Raquel. There's no way. Especially if Liv and Raquel, just won them, and Liv and Dominic are going to lead the Judgment Day if they want to keep that faction going. Doesn't make any sense to take the belts off of Liv Morgan, which is why I could see Dominic Mysterio winning the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. I thought this was excellent stuff. Good TV match. Everybody worked good. And the ladies are stringing together some nice weeks of television with some great in-ring action. Paul Heyman was shown waiting for the arrival of his tribal chief in the parking lot. You saw him pick up his phone and Siri Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been ignoring his calls. There was a Rhea Ripley video package, just like we got with Bianca. She said she didn't appreciate Belair making her look like the bad guy. Does Rhea look like the bad guy? I don't think Rhea looks like the bad guy here. She said she could see right through Bianca. She said she thrives on playing with her emotions and winding her up like some sort of toy so you can just get what you want and make me seem like I'm the bad guy. Sounds like she's describing Tony Khan. That's what Tony Khan does with his toys. He winds the toys up and they just do what he wants so he can get what he wants. She said when she loses something she loves, she will stop at nothing to get it back. She characterized Io Sky's reaction to being shoved aside as pouting and moaning. She said it pulled on the heartstrings that she had remaining. She advised her to cherish her time left with the championship. She told Bianca she can't wait to show her what it feels like when she's the bad guy. She said she'll get back what belongs to her at WrestleMania. I don't think Rhea is the bad guy. There's no way Rhea is going to be looked at as the bad guy. For some reason, Bianca is being looked at as the bad guy. You could look at Rhea and blame Rhea. I wouldn't really fault you for that because Bianca didn't really do anything wrong in that first match where Rhea lost the championship. It was all Rhea. She let her emotions get the best of her. But Rhea is not going heel. She's not going heel. There's no way that she could. She's the most over female in the entire division. If there's one woman that could use a heel turn, it's certainly Bianca. She's been a babyface for far too long. It's the same old shit, vanilla. Coming out, twirling the hair and doing the dance. I think Bianca needs to go to the dark side. We might have gotten a little glimpse of that last week. She came out wearing all black. That may be a sign of things to come. Rey Mysterio. He went one-on-one with Julius Creed. Rey Mysterio's out there with the LWO, Dragon Lee, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro. And Julius Creed is out there with Brutus, his tag team partner, Ivy Nile, and Chad Gable. No Grande Americano, because Grande Americano is not Chad Gable. And Chad Gable is not Grande Americano. Julius Creed is a fucking freak of nature. I said this on social media, man. The guy, again, I said with Liv and Bayley with Lyra, maximizing their minutes. Julius Creed has not gotten a singles match on the main roster since he got called up from NXT. Tonight, Julius Creed did what, chat? Julius Creed maximized his minutes on Monday Night Raw. It's exactly what he did. He maximized his minutes. Julius Creed was fucking great tonight. Great. There's no way you could look at Julius Creed's performance tonight and not be impressed. I wish the Creeds would get an opportunity show so that we could see this more often. I really do. There's so much untapped potential there in the Creeds as a tag team that it's fucking ridiculous. But if you want to know who's going where as a solo, when the time comes between the two, it is certainly going to be Julius Creed. The guy is fucking unbelievable. I thought this was excellent. Crowd loved every bit of this. Every bit of this. And like I said, he maximized his minutes for the 10 minutes that he was out there. So Chad Gable's out there. He is interfering already early in the match. He dropped Rey on the top rope, interfered in the match to give Julius the advantage. LWO obviously is out there, and they return the favor by crotching Julius. The referee saw both teams standing on the apron, and he eventually tossed everybody out of the ringside area. Goodbye. They are told to go to the back. Rey and Julius now had a one-on-one match. Julius had the control during the break. He worked a rest hold on Rey Mysterio before things got crazy. Rey made a comeback. Rey sent Julius out of the ring with a hurricanrana. So Rey, he does that sliding splash underneath the ropes that he usually is known for. He went for a sliding splash, but Julius gets up and catches him midair, in mid-slide, held him high in a vertical suplex, and walked Rey Mysterio up the stairs with him from the baseball slide, catching him, walked him up the stairs in a vertical suplex position, and then put him back into the ring. How fucking crazy is Julius Creed? Now, Rey Mysterio is one of the smaller athletes in WWE history, so you might not think it's that impressive, but it still looked fucking great. Especially knowing the size of Rey Mysterio and the size of Julius Creed, it just looked fucking great. Excellent stuff. So Julius tosses Rey back in the ring. He tried for a charge. Rey dodged it. Julius went shoulder first into the ring post. Rey hits a hurricanrana off the ropes. Then he follows up with the traditional 10 punches in the corner and a DDT for a 2 count. All of a sudden, El Grande Americano. He ran out. He leapt onto the ring apron. This is not Chad Gable, by the way. This is not Chad Gable, who was just kicked out of ringside area. This is someone completely different. Grande Americano. He ran out. He leapt onto the apron. Rey tried to rip his mask off. Julius put Rey in a cradle from behind for a 2. Rey shoved Julius into Grande, knocking him off the apron. Rey followed with a 619 and a springboard splash for the win. Crowd popped for this because the match was great. And Rey Mysterio has outsmarted the faction of the Creeds and Grande Americana 2 weeks in a row now. Doesn't really bode well for good old Rey at Rey Mysterio. After the match, Grande Americano loaded his mask with a steel plate underneath the mask. You saw him do it, and he ran at Rey Mysterio with a running headbutt with a loaded mask with steel. Kind of reminds me of Lex Luger with the loaded elbow. Again, back at WrestleMania 9. Knocking out Mr. Perfect. The bionic elbow with the fucking screws and the steel plates in it. LWO tried to make the save, but Grande Americano laid them all out by himself with the steel mask. He used this loaded mask to take out the LWO. He handed Rey a diving headbutt off the top rope, knocking Rey out, and he stood tall. Gracias, Grande Americano. Love it. Love it. Some people might find it to be silly. I think this is great. How could you look at a Grande Americano and Rey Mysterio match and not be excited about it? This match is going to be a fucking banger. And you know in front of 50,000 plus that Grande Americano is going to get a nice little reaction for himself. Very curious to see what they do for his entrance at WrestleMania, if they do anything special. The War Raiders cut a pre-tape promo on the New Day. Not much happening there, and I don't really think anybody gives a shit. I don't. They said the New Day took things to a whole new level last week by going after their necks with chairs. Let's be honest, folks. There really isn't much of a story here. It's not much of a story with the War Raiders and the New Day. What I find funny, and this is where my complaints come in for the WrestleMania season and why I started the show off tonight, wondering if this was the final card for WrestleMania and what was planned all along. I know for a fact we went from New Day to them turning heel. Babyface is the heel on Big E, which was great. They never followed it up. New Day was feuding with Rey Mysterio. They had this Rey Mysterio thing. It's a problem with Rey. We went from a heel turn that was never followed through on thoroughly. They killed the momentum of the New Day. Then we went from the New Day having an issue with Rey Mysterio and potentially the New Day and Chad Gable as Grande Americano against Rey Mysterio and the LWO, or what fans online predicted would be Rey Fenix, Rey Mysterio, and Penta in a six-man tag team match. And then we go from that to Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio one-on-one. And then we get the New Day and the War Raiders. Like, how did we go from where we got the heel turn and the New Day feuding with Rey to the New Day War Raiders and then Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio? And American Made versus the LWO. What happened there? Like, how did we fuck this up? Now, granted, Grande Americano, Chad Gable's got a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, which is great. I can't complain about that. Ray's got a WrestleMania match. Chad Gable's got a WrestleMania match. Could be a banger match. Will be a banger match. But the New Day, I think this is what the problem is with everybody. Look at the fucking road to WrestleMania that we got. The New Day turned heel in one of the most shocking heel turns of the modern era on Big E, and they did not follow up on that at all. You think the New Day feels the same now as they did back in November? Feels like fucking years ago. That's how little they have done with the New Day. There is no fucking way that this was all planned by design. The WrestleMania card has been fluctuating in a sea of confusion for months now. There's no way that this was the finalized WrestleMania card, and I want to know why things changed so heavily. I don't get it. It is AEW levels. It's AEW levels of bad. You would expect this shit out of fucking Tony Khan, not Triple H. It's fucking bad. Again, you got to look at the bright side here. You got to look at the silver lining. We got Chad Gable in a one-on-one match with Rey Mysterio, but that does not mean the New Day get to be cast off. You had everybody in a solid match. If that was the plan. or what we are to believe was the plan. But now the New Day get a ice-cold nothing match with no heat, no emotion against the War Raiders at WrestleMania. That match is going to be a absolute irrelevant non-factor. As soon as it's over, nobody's going to remember that it even took place on the show. That's fucking sad. For the New Day's sake, that's sad. Jackie Redmond, speaking of the New Day, interviewed both Xavier and Kofi Kingston. They were fumbling with a game on their mobile device, and she walks up to them and asked about the War Raiders, saying that their match will be a war against the New Day at WrestleMania. Kofi says her lack of etiquette is audacious. Kofi says they've been at war the whole time, and the warpath ends at WrestleMania when they remind everyone that they're the greatest tag team on the planet. Xavier said Eric will wish they did take his head off last week by the time they're done with him at WrestleMania. And Jackie turned to the camera as she said, it sounds like the New Day is ready for a war at WrestleMania. Are you ready for a war, folks? I really couldn't give a shit. AJ Styles. AJ wrestled on Monday Night Raw. You know who else wrestled on Monday Night Raw? Karrion Kross. And he got his old NXT entrance back with the smoke and the hawk flying in, whatever the fuck it is. What kind of bird is that flying in? A hawk? A vulture? Scarlett doing her thing, walking up the stairs, coming out through the smoke, and Kross emerges from the smoke behind Scarlett. The old NXT entrance is back. The old theme music from Black and Gold is back. I just hope it's not too little too late. This was Kross's first televised match since he, AOP, and The Miz beat the Wyatt Six back in September. This was his first televised match since September. What are we doing here, folks? Then you want to wonder why he may potentially be on his way out of WWE and not want to come back. Michael Cole said something very interesting tonight, and this goes in line with what Kross has been doing. If you guys have been paying attention to what Kross has been doing mind games-wise, everything Kross has done has been strategic, calculated, and fine-tuned to what he thinks his character needs. AJ wears his hair down. Sami Zayn, who had a run-in here and there with Karrion Kross, usually wears his hair up in a bun, a man bun. When Kross had interacted with Sami Zayn in the back, his hair was up in the same style that Sami had his hair worn. When he interacted with AJ, he had his hair down, just like AJ had his soccer mom hair, his Pantene Pro V hairstyle. Tonight, Karrion Kross, not only did he have the NXT theme, the NXT entrance, Scarlett with him, everything exactly the way we remember it. Michael Cole said Kross had his in-ring tights, his wrestling gear tonight, made by the same person who made AJ Styles' ring attire and deliberately had the similar one that AJ wore made for himself. I love it. I don't know what it exactly means, per se. I understand why he's doing it. I don't know what it means deep down, but I like it. This is his way of playing mind games with everybody that he is interacting with. Now, he said to AJ that if he does not beat Logan Paul, not only will he fail himself, but he will fail the entire locker room because Logan Paul is looked at as an outsider. And if you lose to someone like him, you're going to embarrass us, who are not even wrestling, because you lost to this guy who's not a real pro wrestler. I don't know what the plan is for Kross moving forward. I don't know if Kross is going to remain with WWE. I don't know if you guys are really aware of what Kross has been doing online and on his YouTube channel. I don't know why what Kross does online has not made its way to television. I don't really understand that. If the guy is adding obviously entertaining and needed layers to his character, then why isn't what he's doing online making its way to television? Why does he have to go out there? Unless this is deliberate and this is the way Triple H wants it to be, because this is the same thing that he did when Kevin Owens attacked Cody Rhodes, and it was done in a fucking parking lot and not the way it traditionally would have come off. I don't really get it. But maybe this is all done by design. Maybe Triple H wants Kross to be throwing these clips and these vignettes and these promos on social media because it's going to be a far bigger reach than what he would do on Monday Night Raw. I don't know why we can't do both. If Kross is going to be a character on your show and you're going to integrate him into several different storylines with different people, why can't we get him in a little bit more of a feature on the show? Because you do know the way that I look at it is if you did what you did online on the show, people would be more invested in what Kross is doing and what Kross is saying. When I get Kross in the ring, I don't really hear people reacting the way that they should for the work that he's putting out. Now, it may just be a me thing, but every time AJ got some offense, you heard the crowd come alive and you heard the crowd react because everybody loves AJ. But when Kross was in control for this match, you barely heard a fucking peep. Is it me, or are you guys hearing the same thing? There's got to be a reason for that. There's got to be a fix for that. What is it? Kross is too good to go out there, put all this fucking mindset and this work into what he's doing, and then the crowd don't react. That's just the way that I see it. OTS Tribal Queen says Kross could light himself on fire and the crowd wouldn't react. That's the way I feel. What does he got to do? It's been an uphill battle for him. I don't know what he has to do. I don't know what the company has to do. So Kross, he takes control of Styles early. And Scarlett got a cheap shot on Styles, which kind of led to Kross taking control early on. So they work a rest hold. Kross has him in a headlock. We go into a commercial break. Styles is slowly starting to make a comeback here. Hits Kross with a Death Valley driver for 2. Styles began fighting back by kicking Kross in the leg. Kross then tripped and played it off like he was hurt for real. I thought he was hurt for real because the crowd went dead silent. Kross was holding his ankle. Referee was kneeling down in front of Kross. Kross then gets up and then absolutely blasted AJ with an elbow, and then he starts laughing. He was mocking AJ's injury from months ago. Kross, again, like I said, deliberate, strategic, fine-tuned. He knows his opponent so well. He knows exactly what's going to make his opponent tick. The good angel, bad angel. He's playing the bad angel. He only has his best interest at heart here. So he faked an injury. Styles fell for it. He mocked the injury, blasted him with an elbow. Styles comes back. He fires off some rights, some kicks. Kross dropped him eventually with a DDT. Kross, towards the end, he tried for a clothesline from behind. Styles ducked, hits a Ushi-Goroshi for a 2 count. He then followed up with a phenomenal forearm, and he eventually got the 1, 2, 3. Good stuff. The match itself was solid. The crowd reaction could have been more. And yes, Skylar Rapier, Kevin Castle would be very happy to see Kross on Raw wrestling Styles. He would. After the match was over, Styles won with the phenomenal forearm. Logan Paul entered, and he's got a microphone in hand. He said, "The people of Sacramento were basically trash." Styles won. I came out here to congratulate you. Fans booed. He didn't understand. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why are you booing me? What's this hostility for? Chill, Sacramento. I just came out here to congratulate your boy, AJ Styles. Sacramento ain't cool enough, though. The fans aren't cool enough to live in Los Angeles. That's why you live in Sacramento. You're not smart enough to live in San Francisco. That's why you live in Sacramento. He said he showed the generic California losers. I don't know why anybody would want to live in California, number one, except for the weather. You think New York is bad? He wanted to show the generic California losers why their match at WrestleMania is, and he says, is gonna cook. He threw a video package showing his fame and his accomplishments. It was like a 45-second video package highlighting some of the things that he's done. Social media influencer, businessman, boxer, pro wrestler. He's rich. He knows a thing or two about going viral. AJ Styles, after this video ended, said, yeah, it's a cute little video, smartass. He told Logan to start WrestleMania early, tonight. Come to the ring now. Kross was still out there. He tried to attack Styles from behind. Styles caught him and fought him off. Logan comes into the ring. Styles is taking care of Logan and Kross, 2-on-1 here. Logan eventually gets the best of AJ, hit Styles from behind, and delivered his pulverizer, which looks fucking great. Great looking finish. I do not think that AJ is going to win at WrestleMania. I think Logan Paul is going to beat AJ Styles. That's my prediction. They're really playing up this pulverizer. Karrion Kross might have something to do with the Logan Paul AJ Styles match at WrestleMania. We don't know, but I'm going Logan Paul. I'm going Logan Paul. JD is going political, says Mike Corona. Why? Because I said California is a shithole just like New York City is a shithole. Everything's too expensive out here. It's double as worse in California. You don't know? I know people out in California. Come on now. No, I don't like New York or California. No, if it was up to me, I'd be living in Florida. Honestly. I split my time between Newark and New Jersey, and New Jersey is the highest taxed state in the entire United States. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous no matter where you go, man. But I'll take some California weather if you want to send some my way with a palm tree or two. Jey Uso was backstage. He made his way out to the ring. I don't know why this was needed. I really don't know why this was needed. Jey Uso wore all black. He came out to a yeet-like reaction like he usually gets. The crowd chanted one more time after they got enough yeet in their system. They wanted more, so he had them replay it. He cut a promo while standing on the announce desk. He shouted out his mom, who was somewhere in the crowd. He said people were wondering where his mind was at and wondered if he was crashing out. He was crashing out, but he was locked in. Listening to Gunther made him realize that Gunther was afraid. Afraid that Jey would whoop his ass in front of 60,000 people at WrestleMania for the world title. WWE is not going to have 60,000 people at WrestleMania because WWE only has a little bit over 50,000 for WrestleMania. And there's not going to be a chance that they get to 60,000 before we get there unless they inflate their numbers. Simple as that. All of this is easily accessible online. 50,000 people. Jey told Gunther he would get him on Saturday. They played his music. He yeeted, and that was it. I don't know why this was needed. Why did you need to trot HEYMAN out there? All we needed. We heard everything from Jey last week. We got it. We got it. That was it. Gunther said nothing. This week, Gunther said a lot. Jey should have said nothing this week. He said everything he needed last week. You should have kept it even. Gunther smiled and smirked last week while Jey got fucking serious. Gunther came out angry and cut a promo while Jey said nothing this week. I don't know why they did this. Couldn't save that for WrestleMania. We're literally 6 days away from him winning the championship, and we got to do all this twice on Raw. Gee, I wonder why people don't want him to win the world championship. Kathy Kelly tried interviewing Braun Breaker, but he was immediately attacked by the Judgment Day backstage. They beat the shit out of him. She went to go ask him about his WrestleMania match. He said it's the biggest IC title match that he's had yet. Balor with the rest of Judgment Day attacked him. Adam Pearce and other officials quickly intervened. Little match on the fire. Little gasoline, making that fire grow a little brighter. That's all this was. Not really anything else that could be done, could be said here. I mean, for the most part, it's a heatless fucking match. I don't want to say completely heatless because we got the Dominic Finn Balor situation that WWE hasn't really done much to forward in the last couple of weeks. How is Dominic faring in the Judgment Day with Balor? What is the tension? Where's the tension? What is it about? What's the issue between both of them? We got Backlash in St. Louis. I could see something happening there with both of them. But WWE seemingly didn't think it was needed going into this match at WrestleMania. Finn Balor, speaking of which, he went one-on-one with Penta. Again, another good wrestling match. Don't know how a Balor and Penta match is a bad match, but this ended in a disqualification. Now, if you guys remember, they wrestled in a tag team match a couple of weeks ago, and Penta took the L. Finn Balor even mentioned it on social media, calling him Pinta, because he pinned Finn Balor. Which is why I'm assuming he's in this Intercontinental Championship match. He pinned the number one contender, theoretically. So this was the first time for them one-on-one here. Penta knocked Balor off the apron during his entrance, followed with a flip dive over the ropes. Match began, bell rings, they entered the ring. Penta was in control. Balor hits a basement drop kick to Penta. Balor did the too sweet, and he drove Penta onto the apron ahead of a commercial break. So we go into the break with Finn Balor in control. Penta, he is fighting from behind, coming back from the commercial. Balor puts a stop to that. He hits a superplex on Penta. And he goes for cover off the superplex off the top rope. He goes for cover, gets a 2 count. Penta fought back, hits a backstabber for a 2 count of his own on Finn. Penta hits his signature sling blade. Balor followed one with a signature sling blade. That's also one of his signature moves. Penta avoided a running dropkick, hits a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on Finn. Penta then hit the sacrifice, snapped Balor's arm. Balor countered a Penta driver into a roll-up for 2. Penta then followed with some kicks, and all of a sudden the Judgment Day is out there. Carlito, Cool, and Dominic are out there. Balor used the Judgment Day distraction to apply a schoolboy on Penta for 2. Balor followed with a dropkick, and he was setting up coup de grace off the top rope. All of a sudden, Braun Breaker's music plays, and he's standing at the stage area coming out of Gorilla. Carlito had his back turned, and it's deja vu all over again for Carlito, who was on the receiving end of the Spear of the Century last week. He got speared in half. It was basically a Mortal Kombat fatality playing out in real life. So he knew he didn't want to go through that again. So it was basically the same thing happening all over again. Carlito, he ran into the ring to the opposite side of the ring and jumped over the commentary table to do, I believe, hide underneath the commentary table. He wanted nothing to do with Braun Breaker. We may see something very dastardly at WrestleMania if he gets involved, because it's a no DQ match. So, Braun Breaker's out there. Braun gets into the ring. He destroys Balor. Referee calls for the bell. And this is a disqualification. Balor wins by DQ. So, Carlito and Dominic. Carlito's back out there now, being that Braun Breaker is against the numbers here. Carlito and Dom attack Braun, and he nails them both with a double spear, does Braun Breaker. Braun tried to spear Penta, but Penta fought him off and wiped out everyone minus Balor with a dive. So that's the way that match and the final build was built up. I thought this was cool. I mean, nothing really, oh my God, I can't wait for this match. But again, it has sleeper match written all over it. Braun Breaker's great. Penta's great. Balor's great. Dominic is great. Are you guys expecting a dull match? I think this is going to be a possible sleeper hit of the weekend. I just wish there was a little bit more story involved. Braun Breaker's the champion. We haven't seen a lot of him leading up to this show. He's been thrown about here and there. We haven't really gotten a substantial Braun Breaker Intercontinental Championship run. There was no way they were going to leave him off WrestleMania, or that title off of WrestleMania. But he hasn't really had a substantial run this year. He's been here and there, but nothing really solid. Balor and Dominic is the true story. What's the tension there? How is it going to lead to, the health of the Judgment Day? And then Penta. Penta was asked by Dominic to join the Judgment Day. He didn't want to join the Judgment Day. Balor didn't want Penta in the Judgment Day. That has nothing to do with Penta. He wasn't going to join the Judgment Day anyway. It was all about Dominic going behind Balor's back. Because Penta wanted the IC title, but Balor also wanted it as well. But Dominic wanted Penta in the Judgment Day, which Balor did not approve of. And then Penta, he's here by the one simple thing of winning matches. He's won enough matches, and he was the de facto number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. And then WWE just got to throw Dominic and Balor in there to make it a fatal four-way. Let's get everybody involved. It's going to be a good match. I just wish there was a little bit more story. That's all. You know me. I want my story. Io Sky. The third and final vignette with the ladies and the World Women's Championship. Io Sky gets the last vignette. Vignette aired with Io speaking with English translations on screen. She said Belair and Rhea Ripley are in the midst of a petty fight over wanting what she owns, and that is the Women's World Championship. She said she's done being ignored and forgotten. You have to go through me to settle this. She said she's not afraid to face both of them to defend her championship. It's going to be a good match. I think Io is walking out with the championship. I do not think that Rhea or Bianca is walking out with the Women's Championship. I think Io will retain the Women's World Championship. Moving on. After the Penta match, after the vignette with Io, they showed Paul Heyman backstage. Punk sat next to him and said that he seemed a little stressed. Punk put his arm around Heyman just as Roman Reigns arrived. Punk told Heyman, "What do you see? Look in my eyes. What do you see?" Paul Heyman said, "A cult of personality?" A little lighthearted joke there by Paul Heyman, who tried to get Punk to laugh. And I guess it was a joke from the word go from Punk. He wanted to kind of ease the tension with Paul Heyman and how he was feeling. Roman Reigns finally arrives. Who's got the life better than Roman Reigns? He finally arrives to work. 15 minutes into the 10 o'clock hour. And he gets out of the car to see these guys arm in arm. Paul Heyman sees him. Roman Reigns walks away in disgust. Paul Heyman follows behind like a little lost soul, like a little puppy dog. My tribal chief! My tribal chief! And Roman Reigns completely ignores Roman Or Roman Reigns rather completely ignores Paul Heyman. Last segment of the night. The go-home segment. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns comes out. He gets the big, long-winded, elaborate entrance. Paul Heyman follow behind. The wise man there with his tribal chief. They're in the ring. The ones are in the air. Heyman tried handing a mic to Roman Reigns like usual. Roman Reigns did not even acknowledge his own wise man with the microphone and asked the timekeeper to give him a new microphone. Heyman was very bothered that Roman ignored him. Reigns told Sacramento to acknowledge him. They did. Roman Reigns. The UK chants are making their way even to the West Coast of the United States now. Reigns said the world can hear the people love and acknowledge him. The world could see that they would never betray him. But not everybody was like the people in Sacramento. Some people would betray Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman knew, obviously, that Roman was talking about him. He stared directly as Roman Reigns was speaking, not to him, but about him. Reigns finally turns his attention to Paul Heyman and asked how he could betray the tribal chief. Fans in Sacramento chanted promptly, "You fucked up at Paul Heyman," which some of it was censored, some of it was not. I still don't know why we're in the Netflix era and we're censoring "you fucked up" chants, but I'm glad at least some of it gets through. The crowd booed Paul Heyman. They cheered him, obviously because he was out there with Roman, but they eventually booed Roman Reigns when Reigns asked, how could you betray your tribal chief? Heyman says it's not a betrayal. I'm simply paying back a favor that I owed to a friend. Reigns was confused. He says you normally pay back a favor yourself, but the only person getting screwed in this scenario was Roman Reigns. Reigns would never ask for a favor. You take what you want. Reigns never asked anyone to join him at War Games. He didn't. Roman Reigns did not ask anybody. He would have went into War Games 4-on-5. That's just the way Roman Reigns operates. He never asked for anyone at War Games. He never asked for any of this. So Roman Reigns, smartly, he wondered why he had to pay the tab for Paul Heyman's favor to CM Punk. Legitimate, logical question. Before Heyman could answer, Seth Rollins interrupted. He comes out wearing a leather black vest, cargo vest, looked very Shield-esque. Black tactical pants and boots. We'd know why and the symbolism of why he wore that later on. Rollins said Reigns was finally starting to put the pieces together after all these years. Rollins has been spot on about everything. His promo to Paul Heyman, his anger towards Punk getting the main event during the contract signing, the Heyman face-to-face last week where he stopped short of delivering the stomp and then said to Paul that now Heyman owes him a favor because he could have ended him. After he gave Heyman advice, Punk doesn't want you. Punk is using you. Punk used you for this favor to get what he wants. He got what he wants. He doesn't give a shit about you. You asked him to wrestle at War Games, and he used that to make it all about himself. Rollins has been spot on about everything. It's very difficult to look at Rollins and see Rollins and hear Rollins and look at him and say he's wrong. He's not. Even Roman Reigns wisened up tonight. Why would you turn on your tribal chief? Why do I have to pay the bill for your favor with Punk? You're leaving me. That's a decision you made. Yet I'm suffering the consequences for it. I didn't ask for this shit. Reigns was just missing one piece. But it was too late for him, says Rollins. Rollins still wanted to end him at WrestleMania because it was still the right thing to do. Rollins called this the most important triple threat match in the history of WrestleMania, in the history of this industry, because the winner of this triple threat match would define the future of the industry. That person could not be Roman Reigns, because if the industry was filled with people who only showed up when it was convenient for them and wanted everyone else to do the dirty work, it would die. Now he's going for the kill. Rollins has been there every week. Rollins has been a fucking workhorse. More so than a lot of people, 80, 90% of this roster. He's been there every week. Punk is not there every week. Rollins is there every week. Roman is not there every week. Rollins is there every week. If you win this match, everything dies. If the industry was filled with people like CM Punk, who pick up their ball and go home only to come back and leech off other people's success, it would die. Rollins didn't want the business to die. And it wouldn't if it were filled with people like him. People who sacrificed and would always do what was best for the business. There could only be one, and it had to be Rollins. The piece that Reigns hadn't figured out yet was that favors didn't happen by chance. And this is where Rollins really solidified his win. This is what really solidified the win for me. My prediction is Rollins will pin CM Punk at WrestleMania. Rollins says that favors didn't happen by chance. They happened by choice. Rollins chose not to put Heyman in the hospital last week. And now Heyman could choose to pay that favor back to him. But Heyman was a scumbag, and Rollins expected nothing from him to begin with. He said Heyman chose to be in Punk's corner. It wasn't just a betrayal. It was Heyman's choice. Heyman chose Punk, and Reigns had to figure out why he was choosing Punk over his so-called tribal chief. Reigns looks at Rollins and looks at Heyman, and he tells Paul Heyman, you know what? And you know, Rollins, I said this a few times tonight, he's been right. Reigns does not want to admit that Rollins is right. He looked at Paul Heyman and said, you know what? This guy is right. Rollins is correct. Heyman made his choice. And Reigns made his choice too. So Reigns clotheslines Rollins into oblivion, shoved him into the ring post, shoulder first. Heyman, standing there, he's holding the microphone and yells, "Thank you, my tribal chief." That didn't work out well for Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns shoves Paul Heyman down to the mat. Crowd oohed and awed. CM Punk ran out. He gets into the ring. He attacks Roman Reigns. He knocked him out of the ring. Punk checked on Heyman. He turns around after he gets up, and Roman Reigns delivers a spear to CM Punk right in front of Paul Heyman. Rollins from behind. He has a steel chair. And remember, he was wearing tactical boots, tactical pants, and a gray leather vest. He had the steel chair in hand, and they did a callback to the night where he turned on Reigns and Ambrose, and the Shield was no more. He blasted Roman Reigns in the back with a steel chair, and delivered a stomp to both Punk and to Roman Reigns. Heyman looked on, scared of what Rollins is becoming, chair in hand, as Monday Night Raw went off the air with Rollins standing tall. That was a fantastic way, a fantastic visual to close out a go-home show before this triple threat match main events night one. The callback to the Shield spot was fucking great. Rollins and the evolution of Rollins during this build. He's had his problems with Punk. He's tried to vanquish Punk. He made it about Punk not main eventing WrestleMania. Punk's favor, which really wasn't the favor. Paul Heyman thought it was the favor. He put the WrestleMania main event into the contract, ironclad, for Punk to main event WrestleMania against Reigns and Rollins. Rollins was angry. You don't get to main event WrestleMania. You don't belong here. You're using this place for your own benefit. You don't love this place. You don't get to come back and do the things that I'm destined to do. Roman Reigns sat there thinking that this all happened because of him. Little did he know that the favor was revealed next week. That's not the favor I'm owed. The favor that he's owed is a discussion that Paul Heyman and CM Punk had 15 years ago, where CM Punk said, I'm going to main event WrestleMania, and Paul Heyman says, yes, you will. And when you do that, I will be walking you down the aisle that day, when that date finally comes. And here we are. Here we are. He made a promise. He kept his promise. On the surface, he's being a good friend. For being a good friend, he did make a choice. Rollins is right. Reigns is right. He did make a choice. He's leaving Roman to go with Punk. He's leaving Roman. He's not going to be in Roman's corner. He will be in Punk's corner. Paul Heyman made a choice. Now, Rollins, I don't know where Rollins and this favorite comes in. I don't know if this is going to be paid off, if this is going to be a thing or a narrative going into WrestleMania. But we go from Rollins and Punk to Rollins getting angry that Punk's in the main event. Now his focus is on Roman. And now he's playing a chess game with Roman, Punk, and Paul Heyman. And you see what a vile architect Seth Rollins is becoming. Very reminiscent. That chair shot tonight brought back images of Seth Rollins of old. He does not want Punk main eventing WrestleMania. He does not want Roman Reigns to win this match and lead the industry, because Seth Rollins fought so hard to take it all away from Roman. He will do anything he can so that Roman does not get back to where he was last year. He already told Punk, over my dying breath, you will not main event WrestleMania, but here he is. Seth Rollins is slowly getting back to that architect vibe. He's slowly getting back into that first time he turned on Roman type of vibe. Does he align himself with Paul Heyman? Does Paul Heyman then manage Seth Rollins? That narrative is out there, and I would not be surprised to see that. So keep that in the back of your mind. If you're asking yourself, is that where they're going? That certainly could end night one. It would be enough of a shocker to end night one. Does Rollins need Heyman? No. But Heyman is the centerpiece to this entire thing. Roman Reigns and CM Punk, he could say, you know what? Fuck it. The one guy that's been right about everything, I'm going to side with him. Because Rollins said that Punk is using Heyman, which he is. Not only did he get a WrestleMania main event out of him, but now he's in his corner. And the War Games situation, Rollins brought that to life. I was asked twice before Punk was to be on War Games. And I said no. No. This guy showed up and he asked to be a part of this, but you owe him if he does it. And then Rollins and Reigns, the history there, the Shield, what they fought so valiantly to take away from him last year, he's going to do the same thing this year. And I do think that Reigns and Rollins are going to have a program after this. I do think Rollins is going to pin Punk. I do think Rollins is going to win this match on Saturday night, whether Paul Heyman joins him or not. If you're asking, why do you think Seth Rollins is going to win? Because he needs it. CM Punk got his main event. That is a win in itself. He doesn't need it. Punk is invincible. Roman Reigns, he's Roman Reigns. He's not going to take a pinfall loss. And if he loses a match with Punk taking the pinfall, it doesn't really matter. Seth Rollins needs it. He would close the chapter on the Punk feud and move on to what really matters most, and that is Roman Reigns. Whether Paul Heyman's involved in that or not, I don't really give a shit. Rollins and Reigns is going to be the program after WrestleMania. I thought what they did here tonight, the words, the flow, the chair shot, the callback, fucking great. Super excited about this match. I was not after they got off to a very rocky start, but man, did they turn this into captivating television, and great television at that, with promos that mattered, that made sense, that really gave all three of these guys and what they want substance. So yes, I'm looking forward to that main event, and yes, it should main event WrestleMania. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. We got 3,000 in here tonight for the Monday Night Raw Post right here on Off the Script. Number one tonight in the entire community. Love when you guys show up and show out for what we do here, man. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. If you guys have not hit the thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. We got 900 likes. I would love if we get to 1,000. With 3,000 people in here, I would love to see 1,000 of you hit that thumbs up. Super chats are open and will remain open, so make sure you guys get them on in. And tonight's show, we are sponsored by Z-Biotics. Make sure you guys check out Z-Biotics, tonight's sponsor, right here on Off the Script. I'm going to hit you guys with a couple of harsh truths today, man. We're getting older. It's basically all I got to say. We're getting older. You and me, we're getting older. We can't go out and party like we used to. We can't go out and drink like we were 23 years old. It's not going to happen anymore. We as adults have responsibilities. Every time you go out and drink that one drink, and you wake up the next morning and you say, man, I shouldn't have had that last drink. You end up regretting it. How do you feel the next morning? You feel like complete garbage. You don't feel your best. You don't go to work. Sometimes you call out of work. You don't go to the gym. Your gym schedule gets all messed up. Us content creators, that one video that everybody's waiting for doesn't get done. I got a surefire way for you guys to go out and have some fun and still get your work done and feel great the next morning. And it's all because of Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink. You drink responsibly, you keep hydrated, you pop one of these before any of that happens, and you're gonna be good to go, man. Your nights are gonna be great, and your next day is gonna be even greater. Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. And how it works, guys, is very simple. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It is this byproduct, not dehydration, that is to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. So just remember to make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night, and please drink responsibly, and you'll feel your very best tomorrow. So if you guys want to have yourself a couple of cold adult beverages and feel your very best tomorrow morning, make sure you choose Z-Biotics. That's zbiotics.com. Use our unique link. I even pinned it at the top of the comment section down below and in the description of this very video. Make sure you use that to guide you where you guys need to be. 15% off your first order at checkout. And Z-Biotics will even offer you a 100% money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied for any reason, they'll refund you your money, no questions asked. Once again, that's zbiotics.com. Use our unique link down below. And I want to thank them for, once again, sponsoring the podcast right here on Off the Script. Thank you guys for joining me here on the Monday Night Raw Post Show right here on Off the Script. And I can now announce the fourth man. He just got back to me. Thursday afternoon, 3 p.m., WrestleMania 41 Roundtable. JD from New York, Ango, Jesse the Shot-Town Smark, and Mr. Santi Zap. Us four will be talking WrestleMania 41 at 3 p.m. live right here on this channel, WrestleMania Roundtable. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger, man. We're doing it for the content. We're doing it for the content. And you know what? We're oiling up, motherfucker. We're oiling up on Thursday afternoon. Yeah, man. It's going to be great. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out all the other content on the channel. Plenty of it. And like I said, super chats are open. They will remain open. Let's have some fun tonight, guys. Get them on in. Best way to support the show. We're going to start off with Michael Krause. He's got a $4 super chat. Good Monday, JD OTS. How was everyone's weekend? Yeah! The Boss Mode Jackson with a 199 OTS for life. AEW equals avoid ever watching. He also says with a $4.99, I look at NXT and I think to myself, these people need Paul Heyman to teach promo classes. It's cringe. Many of these people lack presence, charisma, and speaking ability. It's one of the reasons why I don't watch NXT. I'll be watching Stand and Deliver, though. Sidro with 31 months here in the beautiful and esteemed OTS venue. What did two pieces of bread say on their wedding day? It was a loaf at first sight. And two cows were smoking a joint and playing cards. Oh my God, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Two cows were smoking a joint and playing cards. Stakes were pretty high. Oh, my God, man. You guys are fucking good. Sidro, you're fucking crazy, man. Sidro with a $10 super chat. T-shirt is actually short for Tyrannosaurus shirt. It's because of the small arms. And I got arrested for stealing a whole set of encyclopedias. I said to the police, wait, I can explain everything. I can explain everything. You know, every Halloween in my area, man, you know how many of those T-Rex costumes I see? It's ridiculous, man. JT Chem 2 with a new membership. Thank you, JT Chem. Thank you for stopping by, man. What the fuck are we drinking tonight? Michelle Moran with a $2 super chat. What if the triple threat leads to Heyman with Cena? I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. Best in the world, Matt, with a $10 super chat. With the reports coming out today, one thing is for certain for me after WrestleMania. I'm going to need a Jeff Cobb and Jacob Fatu feud for the United States Championship. I'm ready for a tour of the islands in WWE. What about a stable with Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb? Maybe it's a stable. Jay Everington. Thank you, Matt, as always. Jay Everington with 5. Imagine where Karrion Kross could be today if Vince hadn't dressed him up like a Power Rangers villain and then released him. You got Power Rangers villain Jay from Karrion Kross wearing a dominatrix mask and a helmet? What a fucking disaster that was, huh? Glow J with a $2 super chat, no message. Thank you, Glow J. The Joker's voice with a $5 super chat. Hell, JD and OTS family. When isn't a cackling idiot? He's simply one of the best on the mic. Excellent segment, of course. JMO Ginger Ice Cold. Seth, yes. When Seth isn't a cackling idiot, he is excellent on the microphone. He's very direct, yes. Glow J with a $2 super chat. Good to see you, JD, on a Monday night. We love you. Thank you, Glow J. Thank you very, very much. Jack Burford coming to us from Australia with a $7.99 super chat. JD, I know you've mentioned Rollins wouldn't work with Heyman, but do you think he could take Seth to the next level and become a bigger star? Paul Heyman could take anybody to the next level. It doesn't matter who it is. Rollins may not need Heyman, but I'm not going to scoff at a potential partnership there. If that's the way they want to go off the air. Maybe Rollins is not even going to bother with Heyman. Maybe he joins The Rock. Maybe he has his eyes set on something bigger. You know, we talk about a third man. We laugh potentially that there is no third man. Maybe there is a third man. Maybe Rollins is that third man. Maybe Rollins is going to sell his soul. We don't know. Craig with the 24 months. I've been listening to you since 2016 when my daughter was in the hospital battling cancer. You have helped me through some hard times. Thank you, JD. Thank you, Craig. I appreciate you being here for 24 months, brother. Justin Turner with a $10 super chat. Hey, JD, Stephanie Vaquer said in an interview the other day, HBK called her up personally to convince her to sign with WWE, and that made the difference when AEW was offering more money. So thank you, HBK. I said this on social media yesterday. Well, listen, WWE fucked up Curtis Axel. I don't know how you're the son of Mr. Perfect and you don't fucking get further than you did. Nothing was going to save Ryback. Nothing was going to save Ryback. That was a dead end for Paul Heyman. There was nothing that was going to happen there. I said this on social media. Stephanie Vaquer absolutely made the right career choice. If she was in AEW, she would not be a champion, let alone a double champion. She would have made more money, but she probably would have gotten either the Megan Bain treatment, where she went for a title very early on and then sank into the depths of nothing. Just imagine if Stephanie was in AEW right now. Tony's the champion. Mercedes is the champion. I mean, where would they be going with her? She'd be no better off than Willow Nightingale. She'd be no better off than Thunder Rosa. Just signing someone for the sake of signing them so that they could take them away from WWE. That's all it would have been. It would have been a petty signing. It would have been a, we want you, but we want you mainly because we don't want you to go to WWE, but we don't have any plans for you. That's exactly what it would have been. Thank you, Justin. Ryan Fairburn with a 4 months. The Blueprint. was there for all to see. Cody versus Cena. Rock. Solo Bloodline versus Roman. OG Bloodline. Seth versus Punk versus Drew versus Gunther. Just my opinion. Yeah, man, I don't believe this WrestleMania was the WrestleMania that Triple H envisioned from November. I think this was fucking super glued together over the last 3 months. Hollywood Guy with a $5 super chat talking about the Joker. Which one was the best and worst versions of the Joker? Include Cesar Romero and Jack Nicholson, Jared Leto, Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger is the best Joker. Heath Ledger was the best Joker. Out of, I didn't see Cesar Romero's Joker, so I can't really speak on that one. Jared Leto, was he the one in the last adaptation of Batman? He was a good Joker. He wasn't better than, he was nowhere near Heath Ledger, but Heath Ledger's the best Joker. And that is the best Batman. The Dark Knight's the best, one of the best movies ever. Mason the Legend with a $4.99. For a go-home show for WrestleMania, this was just a meh show for me. Listen, a lot of people are feeling that way. Oh, so I didn't see Suicide Squad then. I didn't see that then, so I take it back. I thought Jared Leto was the one in the last adaptation of Batman. Yeah, Mason, a lot of people are feeling that way, brother. You're entitled to feel that way. Omar with a $1.99. What is a kidnapper's favorite sneaker? White Vans. That's a good one, bro. It's very slick. All right. Cesar Romero was good then. I didn't know his name. Yeah, I used to watch that. I used to watch Adam West all the time, bro. I used to watch Adam West Batman all the time. Scripps Wrestling Federation with 43 months. 43 months and counting. In my opinion, WrestleMania is lackluster. I need more excitement for their biggest show of the year. You're entitled to feel that way, bro. You're entitled to feel that way. I have not seen any of the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Nor will I. Micah, what's up, man? $1.99. What is your WrestleMania match Mount Rushmore? That's tough. I'd probably go Hogan Warrior, Bret Austin, Undertaker Shawn, and then Undertaker Triple H Hell in a Cell. With a honorable mention of Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania 30. Corey Williams with 32 months. WrestleMania 41 should be very interesting. It's going to be a newsworthy show. And I will be here to cover it all for you guys, with you guys. Mark of Cain with 30 months. Say what you want about Vince, but he wouldn't let WrestleMania be trash. Talking about Vince McMahon booked so many trash WrestleManias in his heyday, bro. What, are you kidding me? Come on, man. 30 months as a member, man, you got to be smarter than that. What, are we just conveniently forgetting WrestleMania 32? Holy shit. I just got done talking about WrestleMania 9. Did nobody watch the documentary? Phantom 67 with 20 months. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you very much. Omar with a $4.99. Stephanie Vaquer in jeans, Bayley in leggings, or Kathy Kelly? Cherry emoji. What's your order, JD? Stephanie Vaquer, and Kathy Kelly. Gonna leave Bayley out. I'm not into Bayley like the stands are. on social media. Plastique with a $20 super chat. Can't believe Punk and Roman are in my city and I'm stuck on the night shift. Shaking my head. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you have some solid hours to yourself on the weekend with WrestleMania coming up. Work hard, play hard this weekend. Omar with a $1.99. Did you see Tony Storm's promo on Collision? Yes, I did. I thought it was great. Gerald Davis with a $10 super chat. JD, what if Kross's role is of a WWE parasite within the intent to find, control, and destroy the host? Side note, do you realize your mama's basement would be $1 million location if it was real? That's why it's designed the way that it is. Do you guys know that in real life, when I'm out and about in New York City or wherever I am, no matter where I am, on vacation, working, wherever I got to work, this type of vibe, the first thing I look for when I land in any city is a cocktail bar like this and a hipster coffee shop. That's it. This is where I usually find myself drinking a cold beverage, in a place like this. That's why it was created the way that I made it. Triple M, what's up, brother? 21 months. Bungie's new game Marathon looks awful and launches the same day as Borderlands 4. The game is going to be Concord 2.0. Bungie just needs to make Destiny 3. Bro, I don't think I will be on it. I thought it was going to be a free-to-play game. The fact that they're charging at least $40 for it. My money is going towards Frontiers and their season pass. That's all Bungie's getting out of me. Mason the Legend with a $1.99. I think Triple H is getting lazy with story. You think? Gerald Davis with a $5 super chat. JD, the takeaway with Penta and Balor was when Penta dove to the outside on the mat, was Breaker in pain, favoring his left knee and medical checking on him. I didn't see that. I thought that was all part of the show. I hope to God that's not a serious thing. That would be awful. Mason the Legend with a $4.99. I will say, though, that last segment did, in fact, cook, boys. It did. Brandalorian 97 with a $4.99. Was there live tonight? The crowd was insane. Couldn't hear Gunther at all. Hands down, best wrestling crowd I've ever been a part of. Yeah, you guys came across well tonight. You were much better than Minnesota, I'll tell you that right now. Much better than Minnesota. Major with a $1.99. Can't believe WrestleMania is Saturday, and I don't even give a fuck. Listen, man, the excitement is just not there. The excitement is there, but it's not anywhere near the levels that it was last year. Hardy Punk with a 5. Thanks, JD. OTS was the best part about this road. My first Mania build was lackluster. Still believe Mania will deliver crash outs and mind-blowing shifts. Doug Niswanger with a $4.99. Doug, thank you for the no message, brother. Appreciate it. Best in the world, Matt, with a $10 super chat. JD, what's the best way that Seth Rollins can hurt CM Punk and Roman Reigns? Nothing physically, but emotionally instead. Stealing Roman's beloved wise man from him and CM Punk's best friend from him. You may be onto something, Matt. You may be onto something, brother. Michael Krause with a $2 super chat. Talk. His Brock might be involved in the Cody and Cena match. No. Now, Brock is not coming back. Brock is not coming back until Vince's lawsuit is completely over. And then at that point, they will think about bringing Brock back to television. Hardy Punk with a 2. What did Rocky put into Rhodes' hand 1 year ago? I believe it was the Rolex. Rolex that the Rolex that Cody delivered to Rock ahead of WrestleMania last year. That's what it was. Toya ain't nice with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Toya. I hope Roman never bears. Seth, it tickles me. I hope Roman never bears Seth. You mean beats Seth? I hope Roman never beats Seth. It tickles me. Yeah. Yeah, Roman has never beat Seth. Absolutely. Brock did not retire. Whatever was reported a few days ago, that is false. Brock is not retired. Brandalorian with a $1.99. Let's go dinner. Let's go Cena. Let's go dinner is greater than let's go Cena. A good dinner. You can have dinner with John Cena for $25,000 a plate. I don't know who has that type of money to spend, or why would you? But it's available for WrestleMania season. And Doug Niswanger with a $1.99. Stone Cold heel turn on John Cena. No. Guys, thank you very much for all your support. We just hit 1,000 likes. 1,000 likes. Thank you guys very much, man. I will be back tomorrow, man. It will be episode 91 of Tuesday Night Titans WrestleMania 41 edition. We're going to break down WrestleMania 41, the best discussion in the IWC. It's going to be great. So join us live tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m., right here on the channel TNT with the Solomonster. Tuesday Night Titans. Wednesday, Jesse and I will be live for AEW Dynamite and their spring breakthrough show. And then Thursday, 3 p.m., just announced tonight, myself, the Chi-Town Smart Jesse, Ango, and Santi Zap. WrestleMania Roundtable discussion right here on the channel Thursday, 3 p.m. Thank you guys very much for a great stream. I will be back with you tomorrow night, Tuesday Night Titans with the Solid Monster. Hit that thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button, will ya? For the best fucking WrestleMania coverage all week right here on Off the Script. Because we are the best of the best of the best. I'll see you guys later.